You may be able to guess from the title what is going on, but if not, let me spell it out for you. I will be spending 100 Minecraft days within every full version of Minecraft, meaning it will take me about 2,400 in-game days to reach the current version of 1.21.5. But as you can tell by in-game me building a house in the background, the very first version of Minecraft didn't even have survival. So for ease of start, I will begin this journey in the version of Alpha 1.2.6. I will also add that I will try to update to every subversion within the 100 days. So for 1.7, there are 10 subversions of 1.7 to 1.7.10. So on day 1, for version 1.7, I will start on 1.7. But on day 10, I'll update to 1.7.1, then on day 20, 1.7.2, and so on. That way, I'll be sure to play every official release and all the content that comes with them, as in the newer versions, every sub-update has contained as much content as a full update. So without further ado, let's begin with the version Alpha 1.2.6. Hey there, Editor Clive here, just with a few side notes. I was not able to grab the in-game sound files or the voiceover sound files that I got while recording this, so it's just going to be a voiceover just for this episode. I have been able to figure out how to fix it, and it will return to normal shortly. Thank you. Alright, and now we're starting in Alpha. This is going to be a very interesting playthrough, I think. As you can see, there's only 5 world files available to play. No world seed, no nothing. I just have to open it and generate it. Upon generating in, the first thing I noticed was the terrain generation. I mean, just look at those cliffs. Wow. Of course, the first thing you do after admiring the terrain generation is punch a tree. So I began to gather wood, as I would need that for when I go into the mines. And for, of course, I would like to take this time to mention that I'm not doing this for any particular challenge, I'm just doing this for fun. So I'm not going to be really worried about, you know, trying to defeat the Ender Dragon as quickly as possible or doing anything really too advanced. I'm just trying to build and have some fun with this. Mostly because this is just for my own records, and most likely no one will actually see this. So really, I can say whatever I want. Okay, but anyways, I'm still gonna try to narrate this as well as I can in order to, if someone does happen to see it, at least make it make sense. If that makes sense. Anyways, here it looks like I am finally crafting a wooden pickaxe, and I was getting frustrated because there is no drag to craft. You know how when you drag over crafting spaces and it places the blocks in it? There's none of that. And at this point, I got stone tools, and then I just went surface mining for some coal and some cobble, because I thought I would need building blocks. But then night came, I got scared out of my mind, and dug myself into a hole. Then I started making a staircase out of it because, if I'm digging myself into a hole and I'm trapped in there for the night, might as well make a mine out of it. In hindsight, I should have probably not really made a mine here because this is not where I want a mine to be. So it's just kind of gonna be in the way the whole time. But, I'll probably have to fill it in later anyways. Over here I'm checking the F3 screen, and as you can see, there's no day marker, so I legitimately have to check the sky to see when the day changes. That and coupled with timers on my phone, and in post I can, look over the video length to see what is the current time of day. At this point I looked over and I saw the sand and I began tunneling to it because I had an idea. I want to smelt this sand down to make windows in my little tunnel. That way mobs can't get in, but I can see out to see the time of day. After I install these skylights, I can pretty much just run back here to the top of the mine whenever I need to, and I can see what day I'm on. And pretty much for the rest of day 1, I'm going to be stuck in this mine, just digging it all the way down to diamond level and picking up all the ores on the way. Especially all the chunks of iron and coal, because I, at this moment, am poor, and I need every resource I can get. I guess at this point, I found a cave at diamond level. I believe this is at diamond level. And I found redstone. I was very happy about this because I want to try to make some redstone contraptions. But as you can see, I'm using a stone pickaxe. And, if you play Minecraft, which I guess I don't, you know that redstone doesn't drop with a stone pickaxe. At least not in this version. It was very troublesome for me. I also found some lava, but I will not be dealing with that, as the few stuff I have to my name, I currently want to keep them to my name, so I'm not going to bother with them. Day 2, I checked outside, and found that everything was clear, and that it was daytime. And I started terraforming where I wanted to build my house. I found this spot by the lake with the mountains in the backdrop, and thought it looked quite nice. There's also this patch of clay that I can then harvest for some brick. Night of day 2, I then spent in this hole, just waiting for it to pass, because yes, I was very scared, and it was a great time to just waste time and scroll through memes. Morning of day 3, I was immediately attacked by a creeper, leaving this giant hole right in the middle of where I wanted to make my base. No matter what version it is, I can't get away from these guys just griefing my builds. But I decided to fill it in with cobblestone. Hopefully later I would be able to cover it up with dirt. But for now, cobble is gonna have to do, because as of yet, I have not even crafted a shovel. And the rest of day 3 was pretty much spent, I guess, resource gathering and clearing out the land. But at this point, I began to realize that these leaves were not decaying. Apparently, that was a bug in this version of Alpha, and it's going to be patched out once we update to beta, but that is still going to take 97 more days. The leaves still drop saplings, so that means I'm still able to infinitely farm wood, but I am not able to let the leaves decay on their own, and thus I have to clear them out. Day 4, I began work on a dock and part of a base, but here I tried crafting a wooden slab, only to get a pressure plate. There were no slabs, there was only suffering. The rest of day 4, for this part, day 4, I decided to take a little journey out on a boat, but then I realized boats were slow and it wasn't really relaxing, so I went back. I finally realized, with all the iron that I got from my mining adventures, I was able to make armor. So I did that, as I forgot to earlier. I think here I just made a chestplate and some leggings. Then, the night of day 4 came, and I was constantly dying, even though I made the iron armor. Mostly to spiders, but also to this zombie here. I don't even know how I died there. He was pretty far away. But you know what? We're not gonna give up because, like I said, we have no obligation to do this without dying, so we're just gonna work through it. Day 5, I tore down my house and dock because it was built 1 block too low. Don't you just love it when that happens? Yeah, at that point, mobs were able to come up. It was just, and it was running into the hills, but I finally built it where I wanted it to be. Then I started fishing for a little bit, just relaxing. I'm going to have you guys sit here, because this is not a professional video, so I can just make you sit here until I catch my next fish, or until I get bored personally. That's right, you're really sitting here. Chances are, no one's actually going to be sitting here, because no one's going to watch this. But I like to think that I caused at least one person to suffer, and thus making this worth it. Anyways, I figured out why shears weren't added in this version, and that's because you can shear from a distance using a fishing rod. Not very efficient, the wool falls into the water, and you can't really get it. Then I found some diamonds on day 6 because I was back in the mine. Half of them were covered by water, but at least it looks like I was able to get 3 of them, which would be useful to get a diamond pickaxe. Not only would this make mining easier, but then I would be able to get obsidian for in the future, a portal, and an enchanting table. In this version, from what I saw, the nether doesn't even really exist, because I tried on other worlds to make nether portals, it just does not work. Day 7, I was still mining, and grabbing as much iron, and trying to mine at diamond level. I didn't find any more diamonds, but I got a ton of iron and coal. Then I got out, and immediately died. Good thing I was able to pick up my armor and the stuff that I gathered, but I think I lost a few things because when you store them in that like 2x2 crafting grid, I guess when you die they disappear. Also, nothing to note for this version, bows are super OP. You don't need to charge them up, they just shoot automatically. It's insane. Day 9, I finally finished one wall of my house and the dock. I was able to fish pretty safely from the night of day 9 to the morning of day 10. And that was pretty much it for day 9. Day 10, I think that's where I did the most progress. I don't actually know if it was all on day 10. There might have been a few extra days in this, but I made a mistake and, kind of have to live with it. Roof went up. Yes, that last staircase, I had to go all the way down in order to get it. That wasn't really fun because in this version, if you mine the staircase, it just drops as cobblestone. Then I put up some chests, but then realized even if it's not a full block above them or another chest above them, you can't actually open them. So I'm left with half the storage I'll usually be left with. I guess it's okay because there's not a lot to store in these early versions. But hopefully that gets fixed soon and I'll be able to store twice as much in the same amount of space. I started making a basement. In here, I think what I want to do is just set up a few farms indoors so they're safe. Eventually, when the nether is added, build a nether portal, enchanting setup, the whole spiel, start a house stuff. One thing I wanted to show was that I did kind of, I guess texture the floor with gravel and cobblestone. It doesn't look great, but I guess in this version the textures are close enough. And that's pretty much it for these 10 days. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm pretty happy with what we accomplished, even though, in recent versions this would be considered just a minor feat. But we got a safe house, we got a dock to fish off, pretty much that means infinite food. But I'm still gonna want to create some farms at least a wheat field. I did have a small one back in this corner over here, but the mobs trampled it. But I think I'll make a bigger one in the next episode. And, well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and have a great day.